Alright, hi, I'm McGee-Pasceri, and this is my speech of information on Nintendo. It's a me, Mario! Mario and Luigi Mario are two of the world's most recognized video game characters in history. The Mario series of video games has sold, as of 2009, over 210 million copies, thus making it the best-selling video game franchise of all time. Since its creation in 1981, Mario has been established as one of the biggest stars the world has ever seen, as he has starred in numerous television shows, comic books, and countless video games. In addition, he appears on lunchboxes, in magazines, and even in commercials. Even several sports icons such as Mario Götze, Mario Balotelli, and Mario Lemieux have been honored with the nickname of Super Mario. More impressively, Mario holds 7 world records in the Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition, including best-selling video game series of all time, first movie based on existing video game, most prolific video game character. Additionally, Mario's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, has openly stated that Mario is by far, out of all the characters he has created, his favorite. How did Mario become such a household name, face, and voice? How did Mario become more recognizable in homes across America in the 1990s than Mickey Mouse? And how did Mario become the most legendary video game character of all time? The answer is the brilliance of the company behind Mario, Nintendo. Nintendo was started long before the time of Mario or even the thought of a video game. Founded in 1889 by Fujihiro Yamauchi, Nintendo originally produced Handafu playing cards. Over the course of time, Nintendo dabbled in many markets such as cab services and love hotels. It was not until the 1970s that Nintendo began to develop into a video game company. Nintendo's stock had plummeted to an all-time low in 1964, thus urging Nintendo to push into what would eventually become their most prolific market, video games. In the later half of the 1970s, Shigeru Miyamoto, a young student product developer, was hired by Nintendo. This man would go on to create and produce the most famous video game character of them all, Mario, and become an most influential man and well-recognized in the video game industry. In 1980, Nintendo released their first ever handheld video game, Mr. Game & Watch. The success of this series, along with the colossal success of the incredibly popular Donkey Kong, created by Miyamoto in 1981, set the precedent for Nintendo's dominance in the video game industry. Shortly after, in 1983, Nintendo released the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, and along with it, the best-selling video game series in history, Super Mario Bros. Nintendo continued to pound the market with other series of successful endeavors in the late 1980s and early 1990s with the release of Game Boy, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and finally the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 was originally supposed to adopt a CD format, but after selling over 1 billion cartridges worldwide by 1995, the 64 was redesigned as a game system cartridge. Just 1 year before the release of Nintendo 64, General Manager Geno Takeda invested in a company called Rare Ltd., which ended up revolutionizing the 3D gaming world with its use of state-of-the-art silicon graphics. This, along with the other technical specifications of the N64, made it by far the best video game system at the time. Nintendo 64 is ranked 9th on the most widely sold video game systems list, coming in with over 30 million sales worldwide. This system sparked the emergence of the Super Mario Bros. Series with releases such as Super Mario 64, Super Smash Bros., Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, and more. Nintendo has not slowed down since. After the epic success of the Nintendo 64, Nintendo followed up with major hits such as Game Boy Color, GameCube, the Game Boy Advance SP, and Nintendo DS. In most recent years, Nintendo has released both the Wii and the Wii U. These systems were first to incorporate motion controls and a balance board. This system allowed the player to interact by physically moving, and thus was revolutionary in the video game world. Since its release in 2006, Nintendo has sold over 100 million copies worldwide, making it the top seller of the 7th generation video game consoles over the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Nintendo is clearly one of the most well-renowned names in video games around the world. They have asserted their dominance in video games since the 1970s and have never looked back. The forward-thinking and innovation that Nintendo brought to the world has landed them 3 out of the 5 most top-sold video game consoles of all time, earn them over $650 million in hardware sales and over $4 billion in software sales, and allowed them to produce the most widely recognized and medaled video game character of all time, Mario. Nintendo shows no signs of slowing down either. Miyamoto was recently quoted in Time magazine saying, "We will continue to use new technology to create new ways to play. Our job is to continue to create new platforms that enable us to create fun and new ways to play." What will Nintendo and Miyamoto produce in the future? Who knows? But get excited.